Time now for your forecast first. WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
Live look outside right now from Phoenix City Amphitheater camera. The sky's getting dark again off towards the east, and the reason for that is higher humidity, daytime heating combined, cooling us off to 82 from a previous shower, and a severe thunderstorm now entering the News 3 viewing area, but it should begin to weaken by the time it gets towards Columbus. Daytime heating, the loss of it will also weaken these storms too. This is kind of rule of thumb what's going on here in the First Alert forecast. As far as the big picture is concerned, we're going to see a setup this weekend for more of these showers and storms to erupt because of the ingredients we have. And we're going to show you how long that's going to last in its 7-day outlook. Coming up, though, 70 degrees. We're going to be teetering on 90 tomorrow. Another repeat and more isolated showers and storms. We'll show you how you can navigate around it coming up. The news starts now.
On your side, this is News 3 First Edition.
This summer, more than 800 Muskogee County students are spending their break preparing for the future at the Summer Leadership Academy.
The Troup County NAACP is calling for an investigation into Troup County schools. I'll tell you why coming up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for trusting News 3. I'm Teresa Whitaker. A report you will see only on 3. The Troup County NAACP is calling for an investigation inside the Troup County school system. News 3's Jolyn Adams joins us now with the allegations. Jolyn.
A culture of fear, intimidation, and threats. Troup County NAACP says this is the atmosphere teachers and administrators are working in. The organization composed a letter and sent it to Georgia Governor Nathan Deal, as well as the State Board of Education. President of the Troup County chapter, Ernest Ward, says he spoke with several teachers and administrators who say they've been forced into unethical behavior, especially when it comes to reporting student disciplinary action and student grades. Ward says this is because Troup County is working to improve disciplinary issues, not in the classroom, but on paper.
If a school 1 year had 5,000 referrals, and today that school may have only 500 referrals, if that's accurate, then that's a great job. But the question that I would ask the teachers in that school, is the discipline better? And most people that I've spoken to, what they say, and parents as well, is the discipline is not better. The discipline is worse.
Issues detailed in the letter include teachers being instructed to pass students regardless if the student knows the material, failure to do so leading to a poor teacher evaluation, teachers submitting discipline referrals, and students receiving less than adequate punishment. I'll have more on those issues at 6. Troup County Schools has responded, telling News 3 there is no evidence to support these claims. They say on their website, Advanced ED completed a review of the school, and anyone with questions can view the results. I'll have more on those details as well coming up at 6. Teresa.
All right, thank you so much, Jolyn. New at 5, summer vacation is here, but students still have a lot to learn outside the classroom. Gear Up Georgia kicked off its Summer Leadership Academy today. The program is geared towards preparing students for college and teaching them how to communicate, express themselves, and work well with others. Gear Up stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Program. It is a $21 million grant initiated by Governor Deal to bring support services to students in impoverished parts of the state.
Make sure that they have the accessibility so they can make their own decisions and not feel like they are trapped in any one particular situation, but that the sky's the limit. They just have to want it. And as long as they want it, Gear Up is going to provide it.
Muskogee County is one of only 6 districts in the state selected for the Gear Up grant. More than 800 local students are currently participating, and the program will continue to provide them resources through their first year of college. Well, this week, Columbus State University is hosting a cybersecurity workshop for teachers. The TSIS School of Computer Science is working with local educators to help them bring cybersecurity curriculum to their schools. 20 teachers were selected for the first of its kind program. Most of the participating teachers have a background in science, technology, engineering, or math. At workshops, they engage in hands-on activities that enhance knowledge and skills in cybersecurity. Participants receive a complete set of teaching materials for high school and middle school cybersecurity courses, along with a cybersecurity training certificate and a $600 stipend. More than 70 teachers applied to be part of the program. Well, making headlines in Alabama politics, a lawmaker is facing federal charges following his arrest in an alleged kickback scheme. The 36 26-page indictment against State Representative Ed Henry of Hartselle charges him with a number of counts, from conspiring to pay medical kickbacks to committing health care fraud. Henry appeared for an arraignment Thursday where he pleaded not guilty.
He was not indicted for anything he did as a legislator. He just happened to be a legislator who was indicted for federal crimes regarding pill distribution here in Montgomery.
Henry represents District 9 in the Alabama House of Representatives, which covers Coleman, Marshall, and Morgan counties in North Alabama. He's out on bond awaiting his next court appearance. A disturbing trend in America emerges this afternoon. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says suicide rates are climbing across the United States. In 2016, nearly 45,000 people ages 10 or older committed suicide in America. That makes it the 10th leading cause of death in our country. The latest high-profile victim of an apparent suicide appears to be celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain. Bourdain was found dead in France today. He was there working on his CNN series Parts Unknown. He was found unresponsive this morning by a friend in his hotel room. He was 61. Earlier this week, famed designer Kate Spade also died from suicide. Now, if you or someone you know needs help, here's the number to the National Suicide Hotline. It's available 24 hours a day and has online chat availability. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Let me give you that number again, 1-800-273-8255. Again, it's available 24 hours a day with online chat availability. Well, most of us take for granted that a trip to visit family during the holiday season is a given. Well, that's not the case for many of our active duty service personnel members. But News 3's Greg Lloyd reports one new nonprofit organization is committed to working to change that.
I reached out to all these different organizations, and nobody would do it just for a financial reason. They would do it for other hardships. So there's an open area there.
But Travis St. John and his new nonprofit group called Holidays Home for Heroes is helping to fill that gap.
I grew up in a military family. I've watched many of families be separated at the holidays due to one family member not being able to make it home due to a financial hardship.
And St. John and Company jumped in with a fiery passion. They brainstormed last November and before Christmas raised enough money to send 4 soldiers home. This year, their goals are expanding.
And so this is our first full year of actually being able to fundraise the whole year, and our goal this year is to send 15 people home.
So this has inspired me to get involved, to get these kids home, to be with their families.
Mary Benedict is a veteran from a military family. Like St. John, she understands the need for the Holidays Home for Heroes organization.
Please join us, come support us. Join in. We need all the help we can.
And as the organization grows, so do the chances of sending home more military personnel for holiday trips to see loved ones. On your side in Columbus, Greg Lloyd, WRBL News 3.
Well, 2 fundraisers are planned for the Holidays Home for Heroes. To find out about them, visit the Community Watch section of WRBL.com. A Korean War veteran from Alabama is being laid to rest today. Sergeant Julius Ellis McKinney was reported missing in action in North Korea in December of 1950 during the Battle of Chosin Reservoir. The unidentified remains of 23-year-old McKinney were discovered in North Korea in 2004. DNA testing was used to identify McKinney and return him to his family. The soldier will be buried at Corinth National Cemetery with full military honors. According to the Department of Defense, there are currently 7,702 American soldiers who served in the Korean War who remain unaccounted for. An Alabama inmate who was serving time for killing 2 people in the 1970s has been found dead in a prison infirmary. AL.com cites the Jefferson County Coroner's Office as saying 66-year-old Donald Thigpen was pronounced dead Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. The newspaper reports there was no foul play involved in his death. Thigpen was convicted in a 1972 shooting death of his girlfriend, Cassie Lee Davis. He was sentenced to death. On appeal, that sentence was reduced to life. But Thigpen and several other inmates escaped Alabama's Holman Prison in 1975. The next day, Thigpen was involved in the death of 68-year-old Henry Lambeth. Thigpen was convicted and again sentenced to death. He escaped execution per an Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals ruling. Well, your private profile on Facebook might not be so private. We'll explain how a new bug is affecting your personal information on the social media giant. Plus, in the Health Watch, drug researchers say they might be on the edge of a medical breakthrough when it comes to non-addictive painkillers. As always, the best way to stay connected with us here at WRBL is to like and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram with the latest breaking news, sports, and weather. Right, Bob?
That's right, Teresa. Right now, we're looking at this storm here, kind of giving you an idea of what's happening. It's certainly beginning the weekend, so we can kind of dissect it a little bit. We're going to show you more on that coming up in your first alert weather. Plus, how about this weekend? We're going to get more of this kind of activity, but we'll show you if we'll get any more of these type of storms. So this one here certainly has some energy with it. We'll talk about it coming up.
Your first alert forecast.
Central Georgia, all the way down coming into our west central Georgia counties here. We're tracking a couple storms. And what's happening is you can see when you look outside and you see what looks like an anvil right up through there, that's something that you have to keep a watchful eye on. We know that those are getting up sometimes up to 30,000 feet, maybe even more if it punches what we call the portions of the stratosphere. It goes right out of the troposphere, and then you start getting a lot of energy there. So we start looking at it. It could be even a little maybe minimal hail and some strong gusty winds with this around Brantley as it comes down. It'll never make it to Casita, Georgia, but I'm just kind of showing you what potentially could be some outflow that comes from that. And sometimes that could trigger another shower, maybe a little isolated storm or two. Let's just show you from more of a two-dimensional look so you can get an idea what we're talking about. Kind of moving a little bit of west, south, southwest. And, you know, again, with that, I almost think it's almost going to become stationary. Once the sun gets lower, the angle in the sky it begins to set. A lot of this activity on this map is just going to just dissipate. But what will not dissipate is the humidity. See, we got more of that starting to pump in here from high pressure over Bermuda. And then you have this front stalled all weekend long. Meteorologist Cody Nichols going to be tracking this, but each time you get a little weak disturbance that rides along this line, you get a couple of them. That can actually be the next triggering mechanism, can help to just fuel things up a little bit. So this weekend, we're going to have more than what we had today each afternoon. It'll be daytime driven. But again, you'll be able to manage to get some events out early in the day. Afternoon, though, that heat is really going to help to be the last final draw as far as firing these storms up. And again, with that constant flow coming in from the subtropics, you got plenty of moisture to work with. That's the fuel. So this is kind of a crude measure to show you what's going on. Everything weekends in the overnight, some patchy fog tomorrow afternoon. Kind of get the idea. It does the same thing. Here we are Saturday, 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2:30 Central, and that could be the case. Then you throw in the heat. But look where the rain's falling now. Look at this. 79 in Thomaston, 87 in Macon, coming right out into areas right around Butler where we're seeing that severe thunderstorm warning, just outside of areas around Columbus, which had a shower. And we had a thunderstorm earlier. Look how we cooled down. But then look at Eufaula, 95. Is this looking a little bit more summer-like, where you have this kind of variance, where you have the present showers and rain and clouds, you're going to have decreased temperatures, and where the heat is, voila, bam, you get those mid-90s some cases. So today, the weather almanac, let's just see if we were able to capture some of that rain. We did 0.14 of an inch to be exact. That Columbus shower that we had, which knocked us down to 82, 10 degrees cooler from what our high was this afternoon. So some areas of patchy fog, partly cloudy skies, 71 degrees out here. And you can see certainly the skies are going to do the same for tomorrow. So watch for dark clouds out there. You know when you see that, if you're out at the lake, you know, that first bolt of lightning gets everybody. Remember, there's no safe place outdoors for a thunderstorm. It's National Safety Awareness Week for lightning coming across the area. And you can see the 7-day forecast in right here. Voila, feast your eyes. Look at that, a same old pattern, kind of holding steady. I mean, temperature-wise, not all that bad. As we walk you through Flag Day, as we get to next Thursday, somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, we've been watching. The models are kind of all over the place, but there's something brewing. There could be maybe some indirect impacts for us, more added moisture. Will there be a tropical system? A lot to be certainly said and to be known. So we'll be focused on it this weekend. We'll be tracking all weekend long. Of course, we have our WRBL news app, radar app, either one, and you can track along with us and sign for push notifications if there's anything severe or whatnot. So we would like to keep you ahead of the storm.
All right, Bob, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And today's Consumer Watch, Facebook is facing another privacy problem. 14 million users around the world have their default sharing settings set to public. The bug affected new posts from May 18th to May 22nd. Facebook says the glitch occurred during the testing of a new feature. After its discovery, Facebook went back and changed the setting for all posts by those users during that time frame to private. Affected users are now getting a notification on the app or website. Facebook says the notification signals a new proactive, transparent approach to problems going forward. When we return on First Edition, researchers say they are getting close to pain treatment without the risk of pill addiction. Stay with us. We're coming right back. In your Health Watch, researchers in Massachusetts believe they may be on the brink of creating a revolutionary non-addictive painkiller. It could be a big step forward in dealing with the growing opioid crisis. Kenneth Craig has more.
And not many people know they're addicts until they start using.
Mark Lochesano felt a gratification from painkillers with his very first pill, prescribed by a doctor for a sports injury. It was the beginning of an opioid addiction that consumed his 20s and nearly cost him his life.
I ended up wrapping my work truck around the telephone pole one night on my way home from work, and that wasn't even enough for me to stay clean.
Mark is now in treatment at St. Christopher's Inn, run by a ministry of the Franciscan Friars of the Atonement in Garrison, New York. He's part of a staggering number of Americans swept up in the nation's opioid epidemic. But now, these 3 Harvard-trained scientists believe they've developed a breakthrough, a non-narcotic painkiller 50 times more powerful than morphine, but is non-addictive.
We were told the same thing about the painkillers currently on the market, that they were non-addictive, that there was no risk for dependency, and look where we are now.
The onus is really on all of us to make sure that the scientific rigor is maintained.
The team at Blue Therapeutics believes the answer lies in their molecule Blue 181. It works by clinging to a different receptor in the central nervous system than opioids, eliminating the narcotic high, abuse, and dependence risks.
It targets receptors in the spinal cord where you are able to reduce the perception of pain without targeting areas of the brain which lead to the addiction side effects.
Dr. Robert Griffin specializes in pain management.
It takes a long time to really know all the long-term effects and really to prove that something has no risk of addiction over time.
Do you see this, your concept, as part of the solution to combating the opioid epidemic?
Absolutely. I think the opioid epidemic, the main driver of it is the fact that a lot of us are in pain. And if we don't give effective painkillers, we're never going to solve the problem.
Blue Therapeutics says it could be 5 years or so before the drug makes it through clinical trials to see if they confirm its claims. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Several other biotech companies, as well as researchers at the University of North Carolina and Indiana University, are working to develop similar drugs with different approaches. Blue is preparing for its first clinical trial, but the compound hasn't been tested in humans just yet. Well, some provisions of the Affordable Care Act will no longer be defended by the Trump White House. According to a legal filing Thursday night, the administration says key provisions need to be invalidated. The White House also says the individual mandate is unconstitutional. This filing came from a lawsuit from the state of Texas and other Republican-led states. The argument says after Congress got rid of the penalty for the individual mandate, other sections of the law became destabilized. On the other side of the legal issue, California and other states have filed a motion focused on defending the law. Well, new research suggests a simple blood test could help predict whether a pregnant woman is at risk for premature birth. Last year, the National Center for Health Statistics reported an increase in preterm deliveries for the 3rd straight year. And the elderly are most at risk for depression. Dutch researchers tracked 1,000 people from 18 to 88 years old and found those 70 and older are more likely to use antidepressants, be lonely, and experience more chronic diseases and pain. The study also reveals almost 1 in 5 adults will have a major depressive episode in their life. We're going to have a final look at the forecast when we come back, but first, here's a look at what's coming up later tonight on WRBL. All right, you're keeping an eye on some storms?
That's right. And this one in particular, Teresa, it's kind of neat. We're using our 3D volumetric technology here, and you can see the anvil cloud off to the distance. That's the one that's over in our extreme eastern portion of our viewing area outside of Brantley right now. And what's up with that is that there'll be some outflow winds that could be impacting folks even a distance away. It might trigger another little pop-up shower or two ahead of it. But you can see it is beginning to weaken. I'm seeing the core of it actually shrink down. So it's in its dying phase. So likelihood of that even making even close to areas around Chattahoochee County or Muskogee is not likely.
All right, Bob, thank you. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here at the top of the hour.